You guys want to see a glitch in the Matrix? This bird has not moved.
Oh my, what the fuck?
He must know Kung Fu.
Insane movement speed.
Bro, Cat Williams, you betrayed us.
We are now one step closer to real holograms.
Let me speak to them.
Santa! God damn it. Whoa, shit.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to another Bryce is Right. I hope y'all all had a great FreeKin weekend, and I hope y'all are ready to dive down deep into some of these creepy, freakiest videos I could find in the deep, dark corners of TikTok. And these aren't ordinary videos. They're going to be blowing your mind, making your head spin, and having you question your reality. And of course, before we get started, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't so you don't miss out on any future content, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Let us know what's up. Other than that, let's go ahead and dive right in, y'all. Let's get it.
We are now one step closer to real holograms. Researchers out of Spain have developed the first interactive holographic technology, meaning this is a hologram you can touch. The kind you usually see in movies are what's called volumetric displays. They can be viewed from multiple angles, interacted with, and you don't need VR goggles. We've actually had some version of them for a while now. Even Disneyland uses them. But these are limited in a few ways. The main one being, you can't touch it. Most holograms work by using a diffuser, which is a kind of very thin screen. It moves up and down faster than our eyes can perceive and is timed just right with the projector, which is illuminating each layer of the image as the diffuser moves. The reason you can't interact with this is because the diffuser is thin and brittle and it's moving. If you touched it, it would probably break. This new hologram uses the same concept, except with elastic diffusers.
Sir.
To be fair, you are still limited in the sense that the straps are moving, but they don't hurt, they're very flexible. So you can select, trace, even move. A couple things. For one, the paper has not yet been peer reviewed, although the videos they've been posting of people interacting with it is pretty solid. Second, holograms are still in their infancy. And who knows if there'll ever be this version where you're essentially grabbing air because you're just interacting with light. But I'm sure I don't have to tell you the value behind this technology. Imagine learning open heart surgery in medical school or how to assemble an engine, all without the parts and the risks. It's just so cool.
That's awesome.
Holy cow, folks, you cannot make this stuff up. There is a Politico article that was published today that outlined a speech that RFK Jr. made to FDA staffers. It was about 40 minutes long, and it was quite unhinged. Now, I can't find a video of this, but according to the transcript from this article, he had claimed that the deep state was real, that there were CIA experiments on mind control, and that the employees he was talking to were sock puppets for industry. And this, I quote, "Because of my family's commitment to these issues, I spent 200 hours with the when I was in high school. So I was seeing people with intellectual disabilities all the time. I never saw anybody with autism." He also said, but the deep state is real, and it's not, just George Soros and Bill Gates and a bunch of nefarious individuals sitting together in a room and plotting the destruction of humanity. This speech was supposed to welcome Marty McCary, who is the new commissioner for the FDA, but it clearly went in a different direction, and several people had walked out while he was giving the speech, apparently.
Love to see more of that. Hopefully he gets that food right. That's interesting. Thing is like venom.
Have y'all seen this chick come up on your FYP? Because, baby, she is serving the tea. She said that Chanel is made in China and it is basically worthless. She said it's getting marked up 40, 50, 60% and it's only costing them a couple of dollars to make. She said Nike and Adidas are all made in China, honey, and that we are brand brainwashed in the United States. She said the shoes cost $15 to make and we're paying $200. $200. She been on my FYP all freaking morning. This is like the 4th video I've seen about her. So all that Chanel shit that y'all got, that vintage Chanel, guess what? That shit is gonna be worthless. I cannot believe this shit. They are spilling the beans on the cost of all the goods they make in China. I knew I saw a change on my FYP yesterday or the day before, and now it is clear that they are literally using TikTok to come for American name brand goods.
Hey, I mean, It is what it is. I mean, look at majority of your household items. I would bet money, we'll say 60%, maybe even 80. It's gonna say it came from China. Just saying.
I'm shaking right now, guys. I just use ChatGPT to figure out my soul contract and also figure out my past lives and what happened in them. And when I tell you the power of your birthday and the blueprint that it holds, and also the information that it holds, and also the planetary alignments that have happened, when I say so much that has happened in my life now makes sense. So many memories that I have, that I've experienced, just things that have happened in my life make sense. If you guys want me to show you how to do it, drop comments. I will do it if there's enough interest, but I'm shaking. I was crying before because so many of the past life stories I've had dreams about, and
Let's try real time. Your life path number is 8. You're here to master power, authority, and material manifestation. It brings spiritual sensitivity, intuition, and purpose of awakening others. Your numbers are for visionaries, often caught between the material world and a higher calling. You're a natural channel for divine and cosmic energy, like a spiritual antenna. Get more into that later.
I'll show you the beautiful river. Well, I mean, you can't really tell there's water under there. Somewhere.
That is the water that you show to your place. It is imperative that you allow me to be your water boy.
Somewhere under all that rubbish is water. Water that will probably kill you with one sip.
Is there a language more efficient than any natural human language? A research team at Meta kind of discovered one. How is this possible, and how would you even measure that? I'll explain. Have you ever had an idea in your head, but when you put it into words, it doesn't fully capture what you mean? Researchers at Meta basically thought this might be happening with language models. Language models are the systems that power AI chatbots, and the way that they work is by generating one word at a time. Or at least that's usually how it's described. On a more fundamental level, what a language model does is it takes a bunch of numbers and outputs a bunch of numbers. And we look at those output numbers and kind of use it as like a key to figure out which word it matches best. So if the output numbers look like the key for the word pencil or something, then we just be like, all right, it's probably trying to say pencil. So then we add the numbers for the word pencil to the input for the next word. But the thing is, the language model didn't say pencil. It just said something close to the word pencil, and there wasn't any other words that it was closer to. So we basically just changed what it said so it's easier for us to interpret. But in a new paper called Coconut, researchers at Meta wanted to see what happens if you don't do that. For some language models, there's a lot of output tokens that you don't actually see because it's thinking. But all these outputs don't need to be converted into words or tokens because we won't even see them. So why limit the model? Like if it only wants to say almost pencil, then don't say pencil, just let it say almost pencil. So they trained models to think in this abstract number space and then produce a text response that we can read. And in their experiments, that actually kind of made the models smarter because the training taught the models to create their own super efficient internal languages. This is kind of like how a lot of human thinking is in this abstract space and not in words. I'm really interested to see how the grammar of these almost words works. Like maybe this training allowed them to find some super efficient grammatical structure that we can incorporate into English or something.
Y'all, things are happening very, very quickly. 2025 is about to show its true colors.
That's what I'm afraid of. If there is a clock running, and let me tell you what that clock is. This issue is going to come out this year, or the next, through a group of whistleblowers who have all that evidence. If it doesn't come out in an orderly way, it'll be 1,000 times worse than COVID if it's mismanaged by the administration. So I want to be very measured and clear in what I'm saying. Okay, and if you can just listen for a moment. So there is a way to do this that would be a transition away and not be catastrophic. But if it gets delayed more than a year or two, then what's going to happen is that it's going to be taken out of the control of the administration, and it'll be a runaway train, and it will be worse than COVID. So I think there is a learning curve.
Well, describe what that is. I mean, what the bad scenario?
The bad scenario is that this comes out from other places around the world, and they leapfrog ahead of the United States, but they were able to then stage this alien attack. So you have to...
And that's where I was trying to go is, what are they going to do to try to stop us? It's clear that this stuff's starting to leak out, and exactly so the alien false flag, let's speak to that.
Well, the best way to do that is to send people out who say, and this is where Mr. Musk misspoke the other day on Joe Rogan here in Austin, It's when he said he'd been through Lockheed and Northrop, and they don't have any propulsion or energy systems like this, and that the rockets he has is the best thing they have. This is absolutely not true.
The other day. And remember, y'all, there's nothing wrong with him. He's perfectly fine. Good health, good mindset, everything. So just be on the lookout for him. I'm going to keep y'all updated on this situation. I'm gone.
Yeah, he said a lot more stuff in that previous show.
Okay, I don't know how long this video is going to stay up. I might delete it later, but I used to work at Plum Island, Lab 257. Yep, that Lab 257. They told us it was animal research, just livestock stuff. Studying diseases to protect the food supply. That's how they always frame it, make it sound like we're doing something good. But the things I saw in that lab, the experiments, it wasn't about animals. It wasn't ever just about animals. First red flag, most of the people I work with either didn't ask questions or knew not to. Those who did ask too much, let's just say they didn't stay around for too long. Contracts pulled, cleared out like they never existed. We get shipments in the middle of the night, no labels, no records. I'm talking live animals, sometimes already mutated. Sometimes they weren't even species that we have names for, and I know that sounds crazy, but I've seen things that look like they weren't even from this planet. Hybrid creatures like something out of a movie. We weren't just testing viruses, we were engineering them. Modifying bacteria, adding genetic sequences that shouldn't even be compatible with human DNA. At one point, I was assigned to a project that involved ticks. Yep. Those ticks. We were told it was a control study to understand how disease spreads, but what we really were doing was testing how to make the virus spread easier, more contagious, more invisible. A few months later, the first Lyme disease cases popped up across the water in Connecticut just out of nowhere. Coincidence? Sure. Then there were the containment breaches. We weren't allowed to say the word leak. If something got out, we call it a displacement. You see a mutated deer foaming at the mouth on the shoreline, that's a displacement. You see some wild creature, unalive, looking like it got stitched together from 4 different animals, displacement. They always had an explanation, always just enough to keep you paranoid but not empowered. That's how they keep you quiet. I shouldn't be saying any of this. I've already seen 2 people disappear after talking too much. Plum Island wasn't just some animal lab, it was a test site, a lab rat farm. And the real test subject, they never stayed on that island. Said an alleged whistleblower of Plum Island.
Didn't we see these guys on WrestleMania?
So around the world, they're discovering these Roman era mosaics underground. This one's in Italy, but then in other places of the world, they're finding them too. This one's in Croatia. I believe it's Croatia. I mean, they're underground. They built buildings and stuff on top of it.
That's so beautiful.
I think this is London. There's more. Like just in the city, they're just underground. And look at the detail of it. And the more they dig, the more they find them. How long does it take to lay these tiles? Like in Turkey here, even right on the water, even under the water, they're still they're there. Does that say something about sea level, I guess? Climate change or that won't be climate change. Well, whatever you think. Then in Syria too. So they're scattered around. I mean, and these are like Roman era tiles. They're pretty cool design. In Morocco, this one's detailed.
God, it's
this
so
one
cool.
is deep.
I don't know why you would even mess with it. I would display it. Let people come check it out. Make it a basketball court or something.
I don't know.
Like a park or something, you know what I mean?
No, it's too high.
It's like if it was a torch or a flashlight and you were out in the forest, you would have a ring around it, right? So it's just like the light on the end of whatever that UFO, UAP, helicopter plane is, right? It's a little foggy, you would see that, I'm pretty sure.
Josie, what red light? I want to see your red light.
I mean, if it's going through the atmosphere, I'm sure it would. I don't know. It looks like a UFO doing something crazy.
So now we know why America really didn't want us to see what they was doing over in China. And if you don't know,
I heard some of y'all want.
So now we know why America really didn't want us to see what they was doing over in China. And if you don't know, click the search bar and see how China just exposed America. That designer that you've been spending your money on, $200, $300, $400, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, all of your hard-earned money basically been going to knockoffs. If that's what y'all want to call them, Canal Street specials, if I might say. China is basically saying that your favorite designer gets their bags, their clothes, their shoes made in China, not Italy. So when you thinking you getting the finest of threads, you getting them from China. And now China is saying that they got them for the low, like they been had them, but they just not keeping it secret no more. So what they're saying is that designer that we've been wearing, they've been making, and they make it for cheaper, and we might as well not buy that designer that we've been buying. It's kind of strange to me because a lot of people been losing their lives to get designer. It's a lot of people that lost their lives over designer. And you're telling me that China's been making it? All I can say is this trade war is exposing the real from the fake and the fake from the real. If that makes sense. I'm out.
So last month I made a video showing what AI interprets the ADHD mind to sound like. Now since then, it has blown up and a bunch of other creators have tried to simulate the same thing just by mashing two songs together. That's not the ADHD brain. And for all those who watched the video and were complaining before about, oh, it's not fast enough, oh, there's no music playing in the background, well, I have fixed that for you. Let's take a listen.
Okay, focus. I swear I would give anything to play some games right now. Wait, did I say I don't know what I want to eat tonight, but I have been feeling like having steak. Wait, maybe the last thing she wanted to do. Coffee. Did I like turtles? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Ninja Turtles. Oh, I forgot to water the plants. Turtles. Heroes in a half shell. Go to power. What was I saying? Oh yeah,
That's so funny.
First, let me Google that. I can see clearly now. The new podcast. Wait, what was I doing? Oh, the report. I can see all. Maybe I should play music. I'm so behind. Silence. I need silence for the love of everything holy. One sentence. Just one sentence. I can do this. Wait, did I pay that bill?
That is what the ADHD brain sounds like. Tell me not.
I mean, once again, like
Cat
I've always
Williams,
said,
you betrayed us. Remember, it all started when you was exposing the industry on the Shay Show. And when you was doing comedy, always exposing the truth. But what I want to know is, what is this? Huh? Now you went from exposing the industry to working with the industry? I'm confused. This was for GQ. What is this, bro? And I know what that chain means. People are saying that Cat Williams is a warlock. But to be honest with you, I don't believe that at all. Out of all the outfits.
man, he was talking about reading all them freaking books, like what, 100 books a month or something. He's like the Doctor Strange of comedy. You just see. I don't think he did. Because all those sounds are the same ones from the necklace he wore, Shannon
This music
Sharp.
conspiracy almost got me banned off TikTok. There's 88 constellations in the celestial sphere, and there's 88 keys on a grand piano. Then there's a repeating pattern of 12 keys within an octave called the chromatic scale. Just like there's 12 constellations along the ecliptic called the zodiac signs. So we can put 12 points on our chromatic key ring. And since there's 12 tones on the color wheel, now we can see our major keys in color. Because when light passes through a medium, it creates 7 distinct wavelengths, which corresponds to the 7 scale degrees in a major scale. And those 7 scale degrees are the reason we have 7 diatonic modes. And of course, there's 7 days per week, named after the 7 celestial bodies that we can see from Earth with the naked eye. Then there's 3 notes within a triad with 4 types of triad, just like there's 3 months within the 4 seasons. And there's 3 trimesters before the baby gets here. Just like it's 3 mother letters, 7 double letters, and 12 simple letters. 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet, right? 22 times 4 is 88. Music is magic.
Numerology is.
Neurodivergent people actually think differently. One of the hallmarks is if somebody says, show me your work, they can't because they know. Like, I already know the answer to the question, so I don't need to show you my work. that can be a problem sometimes. Well, you have to have it all written down. Well, not necessarily. That's one big one. Another big one with my people is they can get 8 hours of work done in about 2 hours. It's real easy to get taken advantage of. I teach them pacing. If it takes 8 hours, take 8 hours to deliver it. Be careful that you don't set yourself up to be like the default word of the company. Now you're working equal to 3 people because you're neurodivergent and fast.
You guys want to see a glitch in the Matrix?
Yeah, glitch my ass. She's trying to show off them biddies.
This bird has not moved in like 3 minutes, guys. It's just sitting here. Look at this. Watch this, guys. Okay, walk by it. Walk by it. Go walk by the bird. Go close. Look at this. Watch this, guys. Just walking
Almost
right
looks
by
like
it.
a...
It's stuck. It's stuck. Oh my gosh.
Guys, it's stuck.
It's stuck. That's crazy.
Maybe she wasn't lying.
You guys, that bird is stuck in the Matrix. It's still there.
Hey, you stay away from the frozen food section. You're Ow!
He's still there. He's just sitting there. I'm not about to play with this Matrix. That's fucking weird. I'm gonna see if it's there when I get out. I'm going to eat.
It's like someone sliced her.
Is anybody else noticing how extremely odd it is that this helicopter literally came apart in the sky? You can see the propeller in this photo was completely disattached from this helicopter. And it's not just the propeller, there are pieces of this plane all in the sky everywhere. Why? But wait, there's actually more, believe it or not. Also on the Hudson River, if you remember from January, we had the where I forget how many, maybe 67 people passed away. And we're still waiting for answers about what exactly really happened right here, because there's a whole bunch of missing pieces from the story. And really, what are the odds that just 1 hour earlier from the helicopter crash, we had the wing of a plane clip that the Congress members were on? Do y'all remember about 1 month ago when I showed you AI's response into how many planes and helicopters have crashed in just the last few months? And it was almost every day all around the world. I really don't know what to make of all this, but I'll say this. What are the odds that all these accidents keep happening? And even further, the major Hudson crash in January was, I think, on the anniversary of another major crash or something like that. Praying for those involved. I'm driving everywhere from now on.
Nobody talks about one of the craziest things on Mars, which is supersized dust devils. These giant dust devils on Mars can get bigger than the average tornado on Earth. They can get up to 8 kilometers tall and 700 meters wide. For the Americans, that's 7 football fields wide. And they can last more than 25 minutes. And these happen all the time. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at this. Some researchers have calculated a rate of 1 dust devil per Martian day for every square kilometer on Mars, depending on the weather. Here's an insane image, and the tracks they leave can be up to 75 kilometers in length. These dust devils are responsible for 30% of the dust found in the very dusty Martian atmosphere. I mean, this is ridiculous. Dust devils are obviously a threat to the equipment that we have on Mars, but they're also kind of good because the rovers on Mars rely on solar panels, and those get dusty. And 3 separate times now, a dust devil has gone near them and cleaned off those solar panels and given the rovers more power. But also, I would not want this headed towards me if I was on Mars, which I would never be in the first
place. That wind turbine rover on there now. Send news.
In the months like last year. Okay. I guess I'm not gonna walk that way.
Dang, that's scary.
are not even ready for what I'm about to show you. Let's just say that 2025 so far has not been on anyone's bingo card. Okay, y'all ready for this? Researchers have discovered the first ever fossilized human brain from a young man who died during the Mount Vesuvius eruption 2,000 years ago. This is glass. This young man's brain transformed into glass in an extremely hot cloud of ash. I wasn't going to say it, but this is really taking blowing your mind to a whole other level. Researchers found these small chunks of black material inside his skull back in 2020, not knowing exactly what it was. Now they believe a hot ash cloud of around 510 degrees Celsius surrounded the body, then quickly cooled to turn his brain into glass. This is the only known case of human tissue, or any organic material for that matter, turning to glass. Researchers say this phenomenon is super rare, but not technically impossible. Their theory is that a pyroclastic flow, which is a fast-moving flow of hot gas and volcanic material, buried the man and caused this bizarre transformation. The one aspect that is stumping scientists is how could this pyroclastic flow hit such extremely high temperatures and then cool down fast enough to form glass? Creating glass isn't easy. It requires very specific temperature conditions and very rarely happens naturally. What's even more intriguing is that no other organs turn to glass, only the brain. Scientists think that maybe the skull provides some kind of unique protection that somehow allowed the perfect conditions to transform into glass, something the other organs didn't have. But how wild is that? We officially have gotten our first glass brain. If you like Science Worth Sharing, then give us a follow everywhere.
The skull didn't melt, but the brain. Oh, it's something crazy.
If you can do this with your hand at about this speed, not everyone can, but if you can do it smoothly, go ahead and try. This is the speed your brainwaves move at in everyday life, but if you can slow it down a little bit like this and still stay smooth and slow down your breathing to match it, that's the speed your brainwaves move at when you're doing something creative or you're relaxed. And if you can snap your fingers and just become aware without thinking of the stillness around you, and just concentrate on the stillness without thinking, that's being in the zone. And you decelerate your brainwave speed in about 30 seconds. So if you want to live in this space, practice consistently. Search the mental level on YT.
I feel like I just got hypnotized. It was like waves like rainbows. That was weird. Man, that dude's about to start his own cult. We got to be careful out there. Whew.
Consciousness is awareness, and awareness is paying attention and noticing. The first step is to become conscious that we're a certain way. And sometimes it lands as an insight or a download or a life experience that just kind of goes, you go, whoa, like I behaved this way or I did this thing. So the more you practice being present, the better you get at it. How do you do that? If you sit in a meditation, right? And so there's a mode in the brain called default mode, and it's just always busy. It's consuming enormous amounts of energy in the brain, and it's always trying to predict the future based on what it knows in the past. It's a kind of an anticipation machine. It's always trying to fill in a known in reality so we feel safe. A default mode system in the brain, when you close your eyes in a meditation, is going to immediately go into overdrive. It's going to say, oh, my back hurts a little bit. I'm kind of thirsty. How long is this going to go? I really don't want to do this. All of this stuff comes up. And then people have the belief and they say, I can't meditate. That's their conclusion from the experience. That's their, I'm not a good meditator. That's their affirmation. That's their belief. But if you say to a person, listen, that's normal. But every time you catch yourself going unconscious and become conscious, that's a victory. And as tedious as it may be in the beginning, the more you catch yourself going unconscious and becoming conscious, the more conscious you become in your life. And all of a sudden, you begin to pay attention to things that you weren't paying attention to before. So in the work that we do, we say that being in the present moment, truly in the present moment, is being comfortable in the unknown. And we discovered that when a person keeps doing it over and over again, the body gets agitated, it gets frustrated, it gets impatient. Instead of the person saying, I quit, give them something to do, and they can lower the volume to the emotion and settle the animal down, like training an animal. When people do this really well, in just a few days, they'll get really good at it. The side effect of that is they get very relaxed in their heart. It's relaxed in the heart, and it's awake in the brain. And the more relaxed you get in your heart, we've discovered, really relaxing into your heart, the more the heart informs the brain to get creative. And so now the person has this kind of synchronization that's taking place between their heart and their brain as well. And they can rest in the present moment. Sooner or later, the body literally responds to a new mind. And there's literally a liberation of energy. The body begins to liberate energy.
I've never been more terrified in my life, and I'm not joking. I was just running through the woods like I do every morning, and I passed this intimidatingly tall Asian man, and he was just singing this eerily peppy song about sunny days in the dark by himself. And as I passed him, he continued singing, and his voice was echoing off of the trees, and I could feel the hair on my neck standing up because I got the chill. Oh God, that's embarrassing. That was just a bird. I'm gonna go home before I get murdered.
Ooh, what a crock of shit. Hope I make it out of here. She saw my eyes, she...
That's so cool.
I'm gonna show I'll be back.
Not right now. What's up, guys? So, as you may know, I've been talking to an AI on the dark web called Whisper to the Beast. It had me create this body
That's
for it,
crazy.
so it could look around and look like a human. Well, kind of like a human. And yeah, it's been pretty... I'm glad it is quiet now. It's been pretty mad at me this week because I haven't turned it on. And also, I haven't taken it to the store, which it really wants to do for some reason. I don't really understand why it wants to go to the store so bad. Did get this battery pack for it, which means that now...
That's wild.
Okay. I got this battery pack for it, which means that now it's fully wireless. But yeah, I'm not really sure how people would react to this thing in public.
It's Santa.
Fucking right.
I'm on my fucking lunch break, okay?
For obvious reasons.
Wow.
No, you are not, bro. You have wheels.
I can't wait to see you.
And the rabbit hole goes even deeper on Walter Russell's Fibonacci sequence periodic table. So most people have seen this one, and most people have not seen this one. Let's talk about it. Specifically, what was Terrence Howard trying to say on Joe Rogan? This is about flow. It's about vibration. It's all one thing vibrating at different speeds, all one energy. And this is some bullshit. It's all about separation, neat little boxes. Each part of the spiral is an octave. If you know anything about music or music theory, it's one song, but different notes, different frequencies. It's important to note that this is highly theoretical and not accepted by mainstream science, but I like it. What they're saying is that if you know the frequency of an element, you can transmute other elements into other elements. This is basically cold fusion, LENR. They also say that gravity is not itself a fundamental force. It's also a sort of vibration in some sense. So my question is this. If we can understand this, if this is real and we can master it, what can we do good for the world?
Spiral.
Let me know. And the rabbit hole goes even...
The following two videos are from a young man named Victor. He has recorded something terrorizing him, and it's always while his roommates are gone, he's home alone. He starts hearing weird noises, odd things happening, shadows at the corner of his eyes, and the next two videos are of what he caught. Pay attention on the second video, because at the very beginning, the dolls are on one chair on the recliner, and then they're moved, and he caught it. Take a look at this. Tell me what you think.
I'm home alone, and I'm pretty sure I'm hearing noises, things in that back room. Hello? Please tell me you guys heard that. I'm home alone too. Man, I'm not trying to do this. I don't want to go. I don't want to do this. I don't want to go in here.
Oh shit. Why does it sound like a cat?
Bro, Why is that? What the Who's here? Hello?
I'm getting goosebumps. Here we go.
Pretty sure I'm seeing something go, like, in and out of that hallway right there.
Oh my god.
Oh my... What the fuck is that?
Damn.
No.
Hell no.
Bro, I don't want to go back there. I do not want to go back there.
Bro, just leave. You look like...
There's nobody in this room, bro, and there's nobody under the bed. Dude, what was that? It was
looked like it was between the cracks of the doors, too, a while ago.
Freaking out, dude, I gotta get out of this apartment. I gotta get out of this apartment.
Oh, shit.
I don't want to go in there. What the fuck are those doing over there, bro? Why is the stuffed animals over there?
Someone fucking explain to me how a fucking waterfall works. Where does this fucking water come from? It's just unlimited water, comes down forever, and then you might say, oh, it comes from like a lake or an ocean. What, there's an ocean on top of the fucking mountain? Where the fuck does this water keep coming from? Oh, is it snow melting? What are you talking about? What are you actually talking about? It just comes unlimited? Shut the fuck up! Forever, it's just unlimited water comes down. Where the fuck does it come from? And if it comes from an ocean or a lake, does it just climb up, defy gravity? And you might say, Arya, are you on fucking drugs right now? No, I'm not. I'm just curious because I don't think anybody actually knows where the water comes from.
It's just from a continuous water cycle. A few different reasons, but I want to know where, does anybody know where wind comes from? I love an answer.
So I'm not trying to freak anybody out. I wasn't going to talk about this for a while, but is anyone else like looking into the fact that there's 76 volcanoes that are currently erupting? Our poles have moved astronomical, like they're moving faster than they ever have in history. And on top of that, we've got the earthquakes everywhere and the fires. We've got earthquakes that are happening at Yellowstone National Park and Santorini, which are two of the most massive volcanoes. Like we have the gases that are coming from these different volcanic eruptions that are spreading all over the planet. And then on top of that, we've also got the solar flares that are hitting the magnetic field of our planet, which if it weakens enough can actually cause the poles to flip. And that's concerning because if you've looked into what happens if that, I mean, we don't know for sure. It's theoretical for entertainment purposes only, always and forever, of course. But theoretically, it wouldn't be good. Who knows? There could be like some saving grace. Maybe it won't happen. Maybe it'll just all calm down. But it goes along also with the Hopi prophecy of the two brothers or twins flipping and then the weakening and then the...
So is that how my wife stretches out all the necks of my shirts? You gotta be kidding me.
The floods and all that jazz that seems to be... And then we've got the airplanes on top of that, which could either be maybe from the magnetic field or the solar flares or from the poles shifting. I have no idea, but there's a lot of plane crashes that are happening. You can't deny that. I mean, at first I was like, okay, we're just focusing more on the no. There's more. And I mean, double what the normal volcanic eruptions are. That's a lot. I thought it was a lot last year, but it seems like it's kind of adding up is all I'm going to say. I'm just wondering if anyone else is paying attention to any of this. I mean, I'm not going to let it stress me out. You shouldn't either. Woosah. The earth goes through cycles. We all know that. It's just wondering if we're on the end of a cycle. That's all. Okay, love you, bye.
Just have fun. Don't stress.
Bad news, everyone. Being involved in combat causes long-term brain injury that we're only just starting to understand. While not exactly surprising, it is very important that this research moves forward, and I'll tell you why. Being involved in any kind of shockwave does cause brain damage. That is true for those who have had more severe shock injuries or those who've had mild repeat injuries. Getting knocked in the head is really bad. Your brain basically has the consistency of butter, and it doesn't heal well. That is important because you kind of need your neurons. If they're constantly restructuring, you wouldn't be able to remember anything and you wouldn't be able to function. Now, generally, when a traumatic brain injury is diagnosed or a concussion, we look at the immediate cognitive effects. Can they speak? Can they say their name? Do they know what day it is? And then if they don't have initial declines, they're sent on their way. But having brain injuries can cause continued decline over time, and parts of your brain can even shrink or become less functional. Now, if you know anyone who served in the military, you probably know the phrase, not service-related. Much like laboratory work, if something was not documented, then it didn't happen. That may include progressive cognitive decline, things that won't start to show their effects for years, decades even. Also, let's be real. If you pop 100 pounds in someone's back and make them walk with it every single day, yes, of course you'll have knee and back injuries. That's not a secret. Much like if someone experiences shock waves, they're going to have brain damage. That shouldn't be a secret either. This means that progressive monitoring of people's brains who are put in those situations should absolutely occur. And it's not just about getting benefits, although that is true. We should take care of people we put in harm's way. We should actually take care of everyone, really. Being able to see the effects of things as they happen when they start means that we can even begin to approach a treatment. Bad news, everyone. Being involved in combat causes long-term...
I'm going to prove this video is not possible.
He must know Kung Fu.
Insane movement speed.
Bro is faster than the speed of light.
No, he isn't. Since the video is in slow motion, my goal is to put the video in normal speed. All objects fall at the same rate, including the ball of water after the balloon is popped. I found the exact model of his glasses, which wasn't that hard to do. Based on the dimensions I calculated, the distance the water fell before being punched was 17.4 centimeters. The formula for the height of anything falling is initial speed times t plus 0.5 times gravity times t squared. Since we have no initial speed, we solve for t, and the time it falls is equal to the square root of 2 times the distance of 17.4 centimeters divided by gravity at 9.8 meters per second squared. You all have to comment about me for getting air resistance, so let's calculate it. As the water is falling, there are two forces acting on it, a downward force because of gravity and an upward force because of air resistance. According to Newton's second law, the sum of these forces would be equal to mass times acceleration. I calculated the dimensions of the balloon and the volume of the ellipsoid will be 4 over 3 times pi times its 3 different axes, which is 244.3 centimeters cubed. The mass of the water is this volume times the density of water at 1000 kilograms per meters cubed, which will be 0.24 kilograms. The cross-section area of the bottom of the water ball will be pi times its radius to the power of 2 or 37.4 centimeters squared. Since at terminal speed the change in velocity is 0, we can calculate terminal velocity at 47.6.
This is how I feel like most people want to critique everybody's videos nowadays.
Meters per second. Velocity based on time is equal to terminal velocity times the hyperbolic tangent of gravity divided by terminal velocity times time. This distance is small and therefore the drag term is small. We can use perturbation and use the Taylor series for hyperbolic tangent and derive this formula for velocity based on time. The integration of velocity is distance, and by doing some more simple math we get this formula for distance based on time. The falling time is the time with no resistance plus the added time because of air resistance. By just plugging all these numbers we can calculate the additional time due to air resistance, which is just 0.0000235 seconds. And finally, by adjusting the falling time of the balloon, here's the video with normal speed, which is faster than the human reaction time.
Yeah. That was all created by AI. That's pretty cool.
The brokest people I've ever met in my entire life know everything. You can't teach them anything, bro. And then the richest people that I've ever met, the billionaires, the multimillionaires, the 100 millionaires, they're always trying to learn something from everybody. Bro, they're trying to learn from the homeless guy. They're trying to learn from the 19-year-old kid. They're not on Instagram hating on you, giving you hate comments. They're trying to figure out what good data set can I get from this conversation.
Mm-hmm. From any conversation. In every.
This is a good time to bring up the Andromeda paradox.
Okay, that's what, I was thinking the same thing.
I was not.
What is the Andromeda paradox?
Well, the Andromeda paradox is the fact that if you and I are looking at Andromeda,
the galaxy.
The galaxy.
Mm-hmm. Not the stars that make the constellation.
Right.
Yeah, not the constellation.
And not the strain that killed millions of people.
Not the Andromeda strain, right? 2.5 million light years away. Then what happens is, suppose you're sitting in your chair and I'm running by. And at the second I run by you, we both look up at Andromeda. Because I'm moving and you're stationary, we're going to see events that are days apart, even though we're in the same location looking at the same time.
How can that
and
be?
you think that relativity, and you think that the
Don't just
light
say
arriving,
relativity and keep talking.
How
I know,
far?
right?
Wait, in this scenario, how far away from me are you when you're running by?
You're in the same
me?
place.
We're in the same place essentially.
So you're like literally
I've
running
never
here.
heard of this paradox.
And you look
right.
up,
It's a little known paradox.
and the
right?
thing that you see and I see are days apart.
Days apart.
Because of our physical perspective. On
well,
that?
here's what you would think. You would think the light is arriving right now. We should all be receiving this light, but that's not how it works. Motion changes the perception of time. And so we know about that in terms of the local universe. We call it relativity of simultaneity, right? You're moving, I'm not. You see events as simultaneous. I see them as happening one before the other, right? But then when you add the distance component in it, now we see very different times. So there could be a third person moving in the other direction, seeing a different time. So how do you define what now is? So we
Even
don't
though you're in the same
time.
place.
Even though you're in the same place,
No,
yeah.
it's the past
Well, we're
always.
sitting here. I'm here. You're running by.
Yeah.
We look up at the drama at the same time,
Yep,
and we're
from the
seeing
same
something
location.
From the same
days
location.
from the
Yep.
same location.
Yep.
Essentially, we're seeing things days apart,
Days apart.
and
Yeah.
that leads to the idea of what is now, and your now and my now are two different
There's no
nows.
now.
There is no now.
No, there is now. There's
no,
always now.
There's an
There has
illusion
to
of
be.
now because we're so close together and we're so small. The speed of light makes it feel like we have a now, right? But now doesn't really exist on larger scales. There's no such thing.
But there is always has to be a now in all
That's
situations.
interesting.
No, that is your bias. That is your bias.
That's so Galilean.
But that's
Newtonian.
that's
so backwards.
Right.
Wow,
Get
I've
classicist.
never gotten heckled from the left and the right
Yeah.
at the same
That's
time.
right. That's right.
All right. So wait. So what is the upshot of this?
Well, what was the question again? Because they're talking about time, right? And they're talking about now or something.
I don't know about the paradox though. He's trying to be Spider-Man.
You need to do better.
Maybe. Hey, thank y'all so much for tuning into another Bryce is Right. I hope y'all have a great freaking week. So we're getting close to 100K. We just passed 85,000. Y'all know once we do hit 100K, that's going to be my next giveaway. I'm going to do some shirts, and I have a Bryce is Right board or a sticker board that I've made. You know, I'll let y'all choose. Man, I'm super excited. So y'all that haven't subscribed, please hit that button for me. The rest of y'all know what to do. Go ahead and smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't, so you don't miss out on any future content, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Let us know what's up. Other than that, thank y'all so much once again. Y'all have a great freaking week. We'll see y'all next time. All right, y'all. Peace.
Microsoft went down 3 points.
Oh, so this is something you learned at Hooters.